We're boarding a ferry to go on a tour of the Bosphorus area. In all the people on board are delegates from 50 countries for the conference on Said Nursi, and should be an interesting few days. Anyway, okay, tell my people where you come from.
I'm from South Africa, from Port Elizabeth, South Africa.
And we're here for the conference on the Bedaism and Said Nursi. You're for the conference also,
Yes,
I believe.
yes.
Yeah. Well, how did you become interested in Nursi? How did you come into contact with his work?
I met Brother Hassan and Brother Yunus when they first came to South Africa. So they first settled in Port Elizabeth, our town. So I spent a lot of time with them, and we used to sit in the study circles, and we read the books also.
Okay. We just sort of discovered in English, particularly in Canada, the Risale-i-Nur.
Okay.
And Ibrahim Abu Rabi more or less introduced it in Western Canada. So we're studying it also now, you see. And hopefully it'll make a bridge for us, between us. You know. So I'm glad to meet you.
Okay.
I'll take a picture too. Shortly we'll be going to tour the Bosphorus, and we'll give you some scenes from the Bosphorus as we go through. A lot of ships are in the Marmara Sea in the harbor because they have to wait for their turn to go through the Bosphorus. All of them can't go through at the same time.
Akhi, video.
Yeah, it's video. Move toward the Bosphorus, we pass by one of the excesses of the sultans who governed the Ottoman Empire, one of the palaces. One of the problems with emperors and monarchs is they spend far too much money on housing. I've been talking now with people from Yemen, from Kazakhstan, and from Siberia, and other countries, someone from Mecca, and a few people from Algeria, Tunis. It's a very interesting conference with people from so many countries and so many languages as well. And so we'll spend the next 3 days together, and hopefully we'll be able to chat with some people. I'm going to turn around in a circle and go from Europe across the Bosphorus and Marmara to Asia. And now we're looking at the Asian side, and the bridge between the two that was symbolized by the double-headed eagles of Constantinople looking both toward Asia and Europe. So, and the bridge, which we drove across 10 years ago, going on our way to Nicaea, to Nicaea. We're entering the Bosphorus now, the narrow part, and we'll take a few films which will merge together as we go. I'll try to talk to and record or interview a few people sometimes, of course. We'll have, again, heavy wind that will block some of what I'm saying, but we're coming to the narrowest part of the Bosphorus, and you'll see why the ships have to take turns coming through here. It's rather difficult, and I think up ahead is a tower that was built by Mehmet, and they used to collect the tolls when they were coming through. This was before the fall of Constantinople. The Turks already controlled all the territory outside of Constantinople. And the tower would fire cannon if ships tried to come through without paying the toll. So very often the ships would wait until the tide was rushing through, or until the water was rushing through, and and they would try to go on the other side and come through very quickly on the Russian water, but often didn't work, and they would be fired upon by a cannon and to come in and pay the toll or the tax to go through. In the old bridge going across, we see ahead also, and at this point we can see Europe and Asia at the same moment because of how narrow the channel is here. One thing that impresses me about this gathering is the number of younger people who have come. There's people under their 40s and 50s, and who have come from so far in so many different countries. So it's quite impressive to see how Risale-i-Nur has affected people of all ages, and in so many different places. Oh, excuse me. And young women as well as young men who come. So quite an impact, and I think to understand a substantial part of the mentality here, one has to first of all try to understand Risale-i-Nur and his Risale-i-Nur and see why it has such an impact and why it affects people so deeply. And this, I suspect, is where they enforced the levy or the tax for going through the Bosphorus. You really couldn't get through without the cannon seeing you. Italian ship tried to run through this gamut one time, and they were arrested, and the crew were taken to Mehmet, the Sultan, and Italian ship, and he rather liked the son of the Italian captain and kept him, put him in his harem. That was the way of the East. We arrived back now in a little bit older part of the city, not ancient, but old, and it's hard to distinguish really Byzantine and Turkish architecture because the Turks borrowed a lot from the Byzantines, and in the East a lot of the structures are the same anyway. So it's just an interesting part of the city. Still navigating the Bosphorus, going back into the Sea of Marmara before long. Actually somewhere near the Fener, but seems we won't get to the Fener because of the schedule of the conference. Otherwise we'd make a little video from the Fener. Interesting that the sunlight on the buildings behind us gives a different aspect to the scenery. And there are 200 members of the conference who are on board the boat. There'll be quite a lot more at the conference itself, but on this particular tour we have 200 invited guests.
You can sit here.
I especially like the house with the filigree on it, if you can see it well enough on the video. But, some of them are done a little in the old Balkan style, as we call it. This little bay must be for fairly wealthy people.